this is a team that will continually take matches to overtime when they're back against the wall, and I feel like sometimes that might translate to map number 3 just the same.
Evil Geniuses, Team Reciprocity, one map to decide it all. Either you go to the semis to play G2, the reigning world champions, major champions, and seasonal champions.
Not much of a reward, I have to say.
Or you join us in the bleachers and have a pretty mediocre time watching the rest of the event, sad that you didn't make it.
Well, either way, one team's gonna have to do that. There is no drawing this like there is in Pro League. It's do or die. Dokkaebi gonna be taken out of play despite all the play we saw from it on last map. Glaz also banned again here. That is going to, again, prevent us from having to see Canadian playing on that, which is just not been a pretty sight. Similar bans again, though, coming out here from Reciprocity. Let's see if the Echo ban, once again, will continue to shut things down. But the Maestro, once again, still available.
EG swapping up the ban from the Jackal that they've banned in consecutive maps, like the analyst desk talked about. Now they've swapped it over to a Dokkaebi, and there already isn't a whole lot of roaming potential on Coastline as far as rotations are concerned. You can hold up in a room off-site for as long as possible and maybe have one rotation down a staircase if you're lucky. But the Jackal coming out from Necrox immediately should help dispel any semblance of a roam game coming out on Coastline in its entirety.
Interesting to see though that we're going to go to Bar for the first bomb site. Laxing with the 6th pick there. That makes a lot of sense. Especially given the bomb site, you don't need a ton of bandit there. But the Jackal finally available, and Necrox going to be playing on it. I imagine once we see the side switch, we will also see Fox on Jackal quite a bit. So that is something that will finally change up a little bit from the previous 2 matches in the sense that roam play will be different. Not to mention, this is a difficult map to roam on. Something I was mentioning earlier in the Empire Liquid match is how difficult that could be. Put Jackal in the mix, even more difficult, although at least in this case, Dokkaebi is taken out of play, so you will not be pressured by the phone calls and the Jackal tracking, and of course, Lion's still sitting in quarantine until his revamp is done, so that's gonna help things out just a smidge, but also work back the other way, so it's gonna be on Loxing to play very smart in how he makes those rotations along with Fox and their good communication onto where those players will actually be. Or, hey, why not just get some early picks on Necrox, then you don't have to worry about his tracks anymore. Canadian actually gonna be playing on Sledge rather than trying to run his Ash train this time.
Well, like you said, the second quarterfinal of the day. First map was Coastline between Liquid and Empire, and it was Liquid who went in to the first half up 5-1 after attacking first shades of the old Coastline.
As you can see from that fact there, we do expect this to be a bit of a close game because these guys absolutely know how to play this map. You saw in the stats as well. This is a good map for both teams, and I think a very fitting decider between them as both teams won their maps. But I gotta say, a bit more decisively so for EG on Bank. I do share a little bit of Demar's enthusiasm, but also a bit of Zyronic skepticism in Team Reciprocity to close this out, just because, well, historically, EG managed to get into the finals pretty often.
There is one team that has been EG's kryptonite on Coastline, though. It's a little further back, so it doesn't show up in the stats that were presented on the analyst desk, but it was the team now known as Rise Nation, who currently occupy the last place slot in North American Pro League. In Season 8, they drew against them once on Coastline and straight up lost to them 6-2 back on the old format. I wonder if Reciprocity has gone back to the olden days and maybe flipped through some of those VODs anticipating a Coastline game. Or maybe I'm just big-braining this a little too hard.
You never know. Could be shades that'll play. Necrox actually is barely getting with that, but Canadian with a grenade kill immediately traded off. Gotta say also, we loved that Claymore laser show they got going on the White Stairs.
An immediate trade, you lose your Sledge for your Castle, and if you're the defensive Reciprocity, you're probably a little happier about that because your Castle barricades are already up. You don't have to worry about that. And the Sledge, the most immediate utility to dispel those Castle barricades, has now been removed from play.
Well, at least he did manage to get one of his grenades off and land a kill with it. But yeah, Necrox now on low health definitely will not help things out either, as he's also the lone smoke on the team, something that may or may not need for the actual plant. But Canadian dying early is definitely not something this team should be stranger to it all, so I imagine they'll carry on without him just fine. But Necrox, despite maybe having a little bit of time earlier to go for a reset, definitely has no time now, and Fox is going to play on that, despite him being continuously jackal-tracked by Necrox, as Necrox now down and out for the round.
Such an incredibly ill-advised rotation timing for Foxe, and yet it still works out for him as NVK has him pinned down in office, but there's no time remaining. Everyone from EG are going to have to send it in all at once through the toxic cloud of smoke, and Young will claim the life of Skies. No more toxic babes coming out, and Geo takes down another one onto Mark. A third now for EG. Putting the plant down is Young as it's all up to Laxing now, and the 1v3 retake, lighting up the feet and finally finishing off NVK inside of Cubby. Geo and Young left alive. Pings coming out inside the bars, but they evacuate to the safety of the indestructible ceiling. A drone on Laxing will also call out that he is topside, and will go for a rotate back down cool vibes for the second time in 10 seconds. In behind the bar, dancing back and forth, hearing another drone revealing his location concurrently. And one man outside the window, Nitrocell, perfect position. Oh, he gets shot out of midair. And Laxing trying to push onto the Sunrise entrance. Young will cut him down from behind. It's a last second saving grace round for Evil Geniuses, but again, they take the lead.
I do feel like had that been a 1v1, I think we might have been able to see Laxing pull that off. But there's only so many clutches in his poor little body that he can pull through, and that is definitely not going to be one of them just due to the missed the C4. I mean, getting shot is definitely going to be a bit of a runner, because I do feel like had they not shot that, I actually might have been able to get the kill from there, depending on how it landed. A decent round, though, for Canadian, at least finding the one kill, and overall, the advantage to stick the defuse was the key there. Had they not been able to get that defuse down, had it been delayed any longer, well, of course, they just would have lost the round on time at that point, because there was still players managing to move around, and Laxing able to play as best as he was, but just did not have the angle to completely stop that diffuser. He did have a C4, but just didn't know exactly where to be able to throw that down at or be able to get the right angle at the right time. And that's out of communication. We will see Retro actually take up the mantle of Maestro this time. That should be interesting for this hookah defense.
Almost identical roster coming out from Evil Geniuses as far as operators are concerned. A little bit of a swap up, like you said. The Maestro coming out for Retro. Sky's still playing Smoke, and that's a little peculiar considering his fragging ability with other weapons on the defensive side. But it's also Coastline, so his ability to maneuver the map and take advantage of his great game IQ won't necessarily be there on a map like Coastline.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to make a huge difference, but I wouldn't say he's been hugely impactful as Smoke. At least he wasn't on Villa, so it's something that it seems like he's kind of being slotted into a role more so than it being a natural fit for him from what we've seen so far. And I don't want to judge him based off of just him plus an operator equals whatever, but Villa definitely was not a great showing for his Smoke play. Although I wouldn't say it was a great showing for Retro Smoke play either, as he definitely came in some early deaths that were definitely making it easier for EG to push earlier than I imagine Reciprocity would have liked. But Fox and Laxing have definitely found operators they are very comfortable with, and they are almost always at least one of them alive till the end of the round. So that is working out most of the time, and almost worked out last round as well.
Well, a hookah billiards defense coming out for Team Reciprocity as they try to draw even in the early game here on Coastline. Like I talked about, that Liquid and Empire game was a 5-1. Oh no, here comes the run out from Fox out the office door. Necrox removed from play exceedingly early on for free by Foxe. As I was saying, though, the attacking side seemed to be really dominant earlier today, and I'm wondering if that will trend the same for Evil Geniuses, or if Reciprocity has an answer like that, which is stepping up the intensity and the aggressiveness.
I gotta imagine this will be a bit more balanced between these two teams. But I do like to see things like Fox punishing the person tracking him continuously last round by just shutting him down very, very early, and that's gonna make his roam flexibility that much more on point along with Laxing's. But again, they need to be getting frags early on, not just going back for site retakes, but Fox already got his frag. Now it's Laxing's turn. If they could both find a frag each, I think the site defenders have a good chance in the 3v3, especially as EG hasn't always been best on time management. If they lose an attacking player early, especially then it being a tracker. And there's Laxing's, all right.
Stay back.
Just notching him up. Looking good for Reciprocity. MVK, next to fall.
That's a bad engagement for NVK, and Laxing wins that one out on a Canadian as well.
Take a turn.
Dragging firepower coming out for Reciprocity in full force now. Young left alone inside of Aquarium in a 1v5, and it'd probably be the most spectacular ace we've seen all week, should Young be able to do it, but he's going to drop down into the courtyard in the purview of an Evil Eye, get zapped in the backside as he comes over, and he'll get shredded from multiple angles. Laxing will close it out, and Reciprocity draw even at a 1-1 score.
I feel like had there been 6 players on EG, we would have seen 3 each from Fox and Laxing, but as there's only 5, someone had to take last kill with a Lax kill, I suppose is appropriate as well. Nicely done, though, by Laxing, and that was exactly what I was talking about. Them needing to get those picks on those roams, and that's exactly what they did, and guess what? It was just a shutout round against EG. But it all started with that run out right there from Fox. Fantastically played, great use of an impact nade to do some damage, and then Laxing there, we got to see how he got that kill. So overall, just a lot of shutdowns. They really made the map their own. They are roaming at a capacity we just did not see at all in that match earlier with Liquid and Empire.
Just an incredibly unfortunate set of engagements for Evil Geniuses in that round. Looked like very winnable gunfights, and yet all falling apart and all falling towards the side of Team Reciprocity. So they will go back to the Sunrise Bar and Blue Bar after being successful top side directly above this objective. And they'll look to have a better run at it this time around, hopefully not allowing just a wave of EG attackers to push in from a myriad of different angles, including the Sunrise entrance and Skies being caught off guard all the way over by the typical window you utilize to peek a ruin spawn.
Well, we will see one change up in this defense this time as Fox will be bringing that pulse, but we'll also see the Ying coming out from Young. So he is 1 letter away from it. It only makes sense, right? You go from an I to a U. It's an IOU. Either way, it is going to be an interesting round because Fox is going to be playing most likely a bit of a roaming pulse. He does not like to play a very static pulse. He will often be very far off site and use the pulse to help himself identify where players are at, call those out to his teammate, play very flexible, and hope to not get caught off guard because of his ability to see those parts through walls. So it will be hopefully something that works out a bit better for him. But again, Necrox being on that Jackal could mean he's tracked that entire time, and he's got to use his heartbeat sensor then just to try and keep himself from getting pressed on. But we'll, of course, see Laxing still continuing on what has been working so well for him. And Skies, well, I guess he didn't really need to be that smoke last round, as Laxing and Fox did basically everything, just due to great plays on their side. So Young is going to have to get those Candles close to the site. I gotta wonder though, is he gonna be going into the Russian plant? You have the Ying player carrying the diffuser, unless he's gonna swap that up. That speaks of kind of a rush play. They do have the smokes, at least of Necrox, that could go out with it, along with possibly some grenades and lifeline stuns, but this could be a bit risky. Looks like he does drop it though, potentially for teammates to pick up. There we go, that's Necrox gonna be going for that smoke plant once again. And we saw how some of these X-Kins went down for smoke plants earlier in the matches when it was very heavy on smokes, and a lot of times Buck plays well to open that wall. They do have at least the ITA to sort of do something similar, but it is not a big vault hole.
Well, I completely missed the fact that Young was bringing the 6-12.
All right.
Doing his best hungry impression. The flash of Babe from Skies will slow things down. It looked like everything for EG was about to ramp up through this Sunrise entrance doorway and breaking out the barbed wire. Looks like some more toxic gas will be prepared in wait for the entry, and one man droning for Evil Geniuses in behind the Lambo front desk, and it looks like Fox is in a perfect position to flank, although a flank drone catching him off guard and twisting back away out of the purview of NVK, and finally NVK will win it out against Fox this time as compared to last round when it should have been an easy lockout. Less than a minute remaining. Here come the Candles soaring in, but they're not going to blind Laxing. They only use one Candela, and there's an ADS inside of Cubby waiting for those to be launched in. Same with one behind the bar, but Canadian on a flank through Office will grab one onto Mark, trying to grab the second onto Laxing. They trade blows and neither able to find the lethal blow. Oh, what a 360 from Skies! Laxing tacks on with Necrox and a second one on Canadian. Suddenly down to a 2v3, pushing down the kitchen hallway and inside of kitchen. NVK and Geo taking a lot of damage, point blank range. NVK will rip through Laxing, but an immediate trade by Skies. Suddenly down to Geo in a 1v2, ripped apart by the UMP of Retro. Good response round there from Reciprocity as it all looked chaotic and doomsday for Rec early on in the round.
One thing I like there, see that reinforcement to his left, that is something that we were talking about, the Buck play that we saw, for example, from previous rounds here on Coastline is every time it was always about opening that up so you could pressure onto the bar faster. You didn't have to come spinning around that doorway. You could just fly through an open hole right up onto the bar, get up on there quickly and aggress on it. But because that wasn't there, the shotgun play at the bar was so much more effective. We saw when he stood up, took down the diffuser quickly. But Laxing's plays from Blue Bar, the fact that he was able to put his head on a swivel, find Canadian behind him, take the shots to suppress him off, absolutely paid off because of that just good game sense and call-outs. He was able to stay alive a lot longer and just be so much more impactful. And another lead here by Reciprocity is impressive on this map so far.
Going back and forth, and it's definitely atypical to what we were seeing earlier today in the Empire Liquid game that we've mentioned a couple times. Laxing already with 7 kills through 3 rounds, certainly leading the charge and having a much better bounce back game compared to Villa. Reciprocity, like you said, up a round right now, and they've begun to cycle out the defensive locations. This won't be like Villa, where we play the same 2 defensive sites over and over and over again. We will get a tertiary site thrown into the mix, and it'll be Penthouse Theater without a Mira, which is a little interesting considering Kitchen is still available.
Yeah, I definitely find it interesting in light of the debate at the analyst desk about Penthouse and why it has fallen out of favor, and the different options you have to play. We don't see a ton of those super creative angles being employed just yet. We may see them later. But at the same time, they have some good utility, and the Fox, of course, on that pulse could late rotate around for a C4 kill on the defuse planter should he catch him off guard. They definitely know they have a pulse now if they didn't know before, as he is spotted out. And again, Jackal tracked. Not going to get an early kill onto Necrox just yet, as Necrox is playing it a bit more careful this time. At least managing to get some footprints in the meantime. But this doorway almost just got him killed right there, and some return fire coming back. As we saw before, that doorway can be a bit of a death trap when you're just trying to get that camera.
It looks like Retro wants to peek this and bring the aggression. They're going to drone out Laxing. It looks like Necrox might take this angle without being aware that Retro, they're all both going prone on the other side of a face. Is the only thing interrupting their purview from each other. They're holding the prone angle, and Retro will back off momentarily. One bullet will narrowly soar past Retro on the backside, and a jump out from Fox will take down Necrox. Good information play there, and a good flank. Necrox having a bad run on the Jackal so far. Can't seem to make it past that minute mark.
I tell you what, I would not want to track that Fox, because he will definitely come back biting every single time. It is something that it seems to just punish Necrox when he does it. So they might want to consider a different approach. Dokkaebi being off the board here means they just have to find a different way to deal with the roam play, because like I said, roam play should be difficult on this map, but it does not seem to be the case for Fox and Laxing at all.
Well, this has got to get a little nerve-wracking out there if you're an Evil Genius fan. It's got to feel pretty good if you're a Reciprocity fan. The stalling out here for Evil Geniuses, and another attempted run out from Fox. He's getting ballsy with it, and he's going to back off and lock things down for now. Sky's doing a lot of damage, and will finally fall at the hands of Geo in his L85 pushing through the theater hallway. Pulled up the drone in the middle of the hallway. Again, a very courageous decision, and it'll work out. They'll spot out Mark. Ooh, Retro just missing the silhouette and the outline of Young outside. 2 rotates coming from Reciprocity up the stairs. Nitro cell above won't connect. Take a little bit of health off of NVK, but it won't be the end of the world.
It'll certainly scare him off of it, which forces him back a little bit more towards the hallway, giving Retro a bit of a chance. The plant coming down from Young as Retro finds one and gets traded.
Trades back and forth. It's 2v3s. Young's putting down the plant, and it gets interrupted at the last possible second. Canadian in a 1v3 to try and hold out. Immediate contestant will be stunned out as Foxay peeking back and forth. Mag dumping at an empty wall. Canadian cannot win the gunfight. Foxay wins it out with his horrendous UMP loadout. However, successful he was with it, and Reciprocity extend the lead.
Looks like Skies are calling for a little bit of support from the crowd, because the momentum coming out of the last map and losing the first round here, they still bring back 3. So I do think if there are Reciprocity fans out there, they've got a lot of work cut out ahead for them. So make sure to show them your support, as this is going to be a tough fight, and I expect some rounds to come back for EG. So far, it's looking like they've made this their map. I gotta wonder though, when we see side switch, I do think we'll see a bit of a comeback from EG, even if this continues to slide Reciprocity's way, mostly because a lot of this is coming out of just really good roam play.
Talked about a pregame that shouldn't be happening on a map like Coastline. You've also got Necrox currently 0-4, and he also hasn't made it very deep into the rounds, unfortunately, as his role as the Jackal, he's losing the smokes very early on. Most often, he's the only operator on the team with smoke. So that completely changes your site execute if EG were to ever get to that point. Second of all, the fragging power and to be able to lock down someone like Foxay. Like you've said a couple times now, Foxay will get tracked once by Necrox, and Foxay will in turn go hunt Necrox instead of the other way around.
The funny part is Necrox is more often than not dying outside the building. So it's not like Necrox is putting himself in harm's way. He just really needs to be somewhere where there is no run out. Because once he gets that ping going, Fox knows the only way to stop the pinging on him is to kill the man pinging him, and that's what he'll do, just hunt him right back down. It is very appropriate that it has happened multiple times now, and it just goes to show you, you don't have to be a brave Jackal to get killed when you have someone like Fox able to just jump out the building. And unlike on Bank, he's not a Doc jumping out and having to run his way back through sewers.
Well, Evil Geniuses now on their back foot after setting the tone very early with a dominating win on Bank on map number 1. A very close contest on map number 2 on Villa. They now find themselves in a 2-round deficit. This is a problem for Evil Geniuses. They're running out of rounds they can realistically use as buffers before it comes down to crunch time, and it's elimination point for a consecutive number of rounds. You've only got 4 left until Reciprocity punch their ticket to face G2 in the semifinals.
Nice early kill there on Alaxi. That's really going to shut down some of that roam potential. So Necrox finally breaking the curse just a little bit, but he lost about half his health in the process. And there we go. The curse being broken. Fox is dead as well. This round, in that sense, all but won by EG.
Absolutely, and it's because they're playing off the aggression. Team Reciprocity getting way over ambitious with their peaks. No one from Evil Geniuses is inside the building, and yet they have 2 kills. So Reciprocity playing off that momentum, trying to take a little bit of aggression, but taking it way too far and being stung because of it.
Well, either way, though, at least they still have managed to burn a minute and a half, but EG have shown they're no stranger to pushing at the last 20 seconds, especially with a 5-man to 3-man advantage. This is definitely going to be tough, and this is where Retro, playing on all this, I think going to have to be a big factor, but no, he is downed and going to need to be picked back up. They're going to potentially have to even use some smoke coverage just to keep him from getting pressed on.
Geo still repelled out on the big windows. There's no pressure coming from Hookah as everyone is a little preoccupied with facilitating the revive on Retro. And Mark up through the hatch will get dispatched of by Canadian down below. Quickly a 3-man advantage now for Evil Geniuses as they collapse from all directions onto the last 2 remaining defenders, Retro and Skies. Retro looking to peek out with the Alda. Troy baiting it out as he walks all the way back into Sunrise. Skies left alone on the objective as Retro goes hunting for Canadian downstairs, and he's able to find him downstairs in the Sunrise bar, but he takes even more damage in the process. Skies sending the smoke through the wall, but Retro will fall on Cool Vibe stairs, leaving Skies alone, and MVK with a nice 2-piece to wrap it up, and Evil Geniuses respond in turn.
Well, it just came down to successfully hunting the roamers that time and keeping Necrox alive. Certainly worked out much better. Like you said, turning the aggression against them was the key. So now Reciprocity going to have to tone it back just a bit, but I gotta imagine then that just means we'll see more of it mid-round when time is a little bit lower and they can play it a little bit more to their advantage. Unfortunately, also a lot of great angle play. Canadian getting to live for a while, along with Necrox, definitely working out for them. But also, like you said, Retro hunting that kill probably wasn't the best play in terms of leaving his teammate all by himself on the site. Not to mention then when he did get killed, Skies was not in a position then to trade it, and Retro was already low on health after having to get revived by Skies. So just not the smartest play in that case, despite it leading to a kill. We'll see another Hookah attempt here. We'll see if they can pull it off this time. So far, still a little bit of a lead here by Reciprocity. They just have to make sure to hold on to it. And we'll see Fox going back a bit more to his old ways in terms of playing on Fusion.
Well, the last round of the first half, and we could be seeing a mirror here of Villa, which was a 3-3 draw at the half. And then Team Reciprocity narrowly edged out Evil Geniuses. Or this could look more like Bank in terms of a wider margin of a split at the half. It was a 5-1 split in favor of Evil Geniuses at the half on Bank, and the maximum could be 4-2 here for Reciprocity. For Evil Geniuses, you feel confident about turning the aggression around on Reciprocity, but you also need to understand that Reciprocity are probably not going to be stupid enough to do it twice in a row.
Yeah, you gotta imagine that's gotta be the case here, especially with Fox changing up roles now. I mean, Laxing also gonna be playing it a little bit back more. He's usually the one to stay alive for as long as possible on that role and uses his cameras to help with that. So gotta imagine that's gonna be the case again. Like we said before, Skies hasn't been a huge impact on the smoke. His job is more to just stay restrained, not do what Fox and Lax were doing, not just get themselves killed early and just continue to hold the site as long as possible, continue to delay. Retro, though, going to have to play a little bit smarter this time as well, try and hold them back. Also, Necrox is going to be continuing to play that Jackal role for what is the last round they have on attack. So if he can get a second successful round with it, that will definitely be good for him, despite that still being numbers against him. And we're going to see Geo this time on Ashe, interestingly enough.
Well, like you said, the flaws in Skies' anchor play on smoke, we haven't really seen a lot of them up until that last round there, where he looked like he was lost. He wasn't really sure where he was going or what he was doing. Obviously, a 1v4, not the easiest situation to be in. However, we've seen other clutches, and there's just more of an idea of what to do and take a direction and segment off 1v1s. But those problems don't get exposed until Reciprocity makes a mistake as lethal as the one they did last round, where everyone's jumping out of windows or running out on balconies, and it leaves them alone in a seriously compromised position. When Reciprocity play their normal game, Skies might not be the best smoke in the world, but he suffices quite well considering the aggression and the amount of conversion on kills that the roamers get for Reciprocity.
I would like to see Mark pick it up a little bit on kills because we know we're capable, but unfortunately, there we go. That is a not beneficial position change right into a drone. Geo, though, not going to actually over-aggress on it. Just looking for the right timing, possibly calling it up for teammates to execute on it as well. Make it more of a pinch scenario, as NVK is also hunting downstairs here, looking for any opportunities he can to get some out. He hasn't deployed that Claymore yet to cover his flank either, which could be a problem as there are still 2 of the roamers left. You might need that earlier than later, especially as Mark does exactly what I asked, which just shows us what he's capable of on that 416.
Aquarium push coming out, and inside the blue bar, MVK will trade out Foxay, who's hunting over inside of Sunrise, and Skies will now be felt inside the objective. Canadian taking down Mark as well. It's going to have to be a retake. Laxing on the way back, shredded to pieces. Retro last alive, able to take down NVK, pushing up Cool Vibe stairs, but now he's had to evacuate his strong position on the Cool Vibe stairs. The ping's coming out, but the diffuser will get set by Evil Geniuses. A 1v3, full HP Maestro for Retro. 42 bullets in the mag remaining, and time ever present, ticking away as he slowly pushes his way up the Cool Vibe stairs. Good hold for Necrox, currently sitting basically on the diffuser. One all the way outside by Ruins currently right now, and one on the Aquarium balcony. Great separation and coverage right now for Evil Geniuses. Retro on the pre-fires, he's gonna magged up, and Necrox will still win it out. Evil Geniuses equalize at the half. And now they'll head to the defense. Equal game, 3-3. It all comes down to the next 6 rounds in regulation, unless we go overtime, at which point it'll be Evil Geniuses starting on the defense.
Well, at least last map when we saw it go to the 3-3, it did manage to work out. Somewhat beneficial there, but at the same time, this is definitely a map where EG could bring it home very easily by that extra 1 point. You saw the stats earlier about how close it had been previously. I wouldn't be surprised to see this go all the way to at least the 12 rounds, if not 15, because I can't imagine either team giving up a significant lead. But now that the sides switch, we could see just one team landslide on the other if they're able to play it just a bit better on there. We're going to see slightly different lineups, and that we're going to see the Mute come out here for Young on defense. We're also going to see Mark take up the Cap Tower roll, and Skies take up the Buck. Still going to get that Jackal play, and it's going to be Retro on the Ashe. So very different operators coming out in general for almost all of the players here on the attack. But Fox, at least being allowed to play his Jackal again is definitely beneficial to him. Just whether or not he makes the most of it or ends up in Necrox's situation will be a big game changer here, I think, for this team.
It'll be whether or not he'll be able to hunt as well as he was hunting on the defensive side, on the attacking side. Fox and Laxing have reached a combined 50 kills in this series, including 11 entry frags. That is not surprising at all. I imagine, actually, if I remember back, there was a similar stat at USN about the both of them having upwards of 50 through a few games as well, and their entry kill numbers being quite impressive.
And that was before Skies joined the team, so hopefully they can maybe bump his numbers up a little by giving him some more impactful frags. He's a very good buck player, though, so I imagine if he can get into the site, sometimes when he is playing on the entry frag and is allowed to live for a while, he tends to be very impactful in the late part of the round, whereas the early part of the round, he tends to either die or just get some map control. We don't often see him getting a lot of those entry kills. I don't think I don't have the stats for that in front of me, but that's just been my impression in general.
Well, you got 3 Reciprocity attackers currently hovering above the bathroom hatch over by Master. And it looks like Fox is going to get a drone call of one roamer over on the edge of Theater Stairs and lots of footprints to hunt down. So Fox will begin his hunt, but it's actually the Maestro of Geo. Interesting that he was all the way over inside of VIP. Maybe they were baiting out the footprints deliberately? There's no real reason that Geo would have to be that far over.
And 10 million IQ Geo plays. He knows what he's doing. I trusted there's a plan there. In this case, though, he might just be trying to hold his own rather than it being any kind of necessary bait or anything like that. Just, hey, I'm going to hold my own over on this part of the map, and I trust you guys to do your job. It won't be a big deal because Maestro can hold quite a few angles by himself if he's smart on the rotate of which angle he's pre-firing onto. It is hard to pinch him out if you don't have your timing just right, or at least good drones. But Laxing is the first to find the kill onto Canadian. This looks eerily familiar to Villa.
Canadian going to drop first yet again. And another set of Jackal Pings coming out onto Geo, unfortunately, as I imagine he's getting a little frustrated at Fox at about this time as we approach the final minute mark in the round. And we have yet for Reciprocity to grab a foothold in towards the objective as far as real estate is concerned. Finally, Mark will press into Aquarium and get in behind the bar into safety. And there's not a lot of attention being played right now for Evil Geniuses towards the Aquarium side. They're more concerned with a VIP push currently, and it looks like it is a split push on behalf of Reciprocity. The first Toxic Bay will come out from Necrox to repel that immediate entry from Mark with that diffuser, trying to stall out the plant for as long as possible. And the third set of Jackal Pings will come out onto Geo. Unfortunate. Constantly on ping for the entirety of the round, but here comes the execute. 18 seconds, oh, a bad cross there from Young. He'll get caught out by Foxay. 2 more will peak the angle. Foxay with another victim, just lining up for Reciprocity now. It's NVK in a 1v5. He grabs one, Laxing cleans it from outside, and Reciprocity go up 4-3 for the first round of the first half.
Nice execute. I think they were honestly, if you have a Jackal player, you're going to be expecting them set up to use those smokes for the execute. The fact that he was on that flank just does not seem like what they were prepared for. Geo even trying to re-peek it. He's got to remember, though, he's a big guy. He's going to expose a little bit of that hitbox out there, just trying to peek that. Just did not seem to put the positioning just right. Ultimately cost him giving 2 on there. It was unfortunate for Fox, though. He wasn't prepared for a third to be there. But either way, 2 kills is more than enough on that attack. Great plays by Skies as well, getting in there, doing some good damage. You saw him also having a good grenade there. And the fact that they had the cap towers to back up meant they didn't have to depend on the Jackal player, giving Fox that additional freedom to just focus on tracking and hunting down his prey. And I think that was a big benefit to them, having that extra cap tower to focus on execute while letting Fox do his thing.
Well, the scoreline feels exactly like Villa, going back and forth and back and forth. A little bit of a lead established early on, and then it completely evaporates into thin air. So, we draw again at a 4-3 scoreline. Reciprocity 3 rounds away in regulation, that is, from a date with G2 tomorrow as the second semifinal.
I mean, to be fair, with how close these teams have been in that back and forth, we actually haven't seen any overtime in this matchup yet. I mean, Bank definitely was not as close, but we didn't see an overtime until, and who knows, we might see one team just slide ahead 2 points, and that might be just enough to take them to the victory, and then we don't have to see that overtime. But I do think these guys are earning this overtime, and I certainly think if it's the lead for Reciprocity, EG are going to work that much harder to make sure it goes to that overtime, and it's going to be tough. I mean, this is going to be a slog for both teams. It's going to be a stamina fest for these guys, but all of them have been here for the most part. All of them are very comfortable in this position in terms of sticking through it. I don't see anyone really weakening too early to give it up to the other team.
No, stamina should be garnered in spades for all of these players as they've, as you said, been here plenty of times in stages just like this, in situations just like this, with time crunches just like this. It's not a new foray for a lot of these players, and expertise really does go a long way in this. We've seen a lot of the more inexperienced teams fall out early in those stamina fights. It's interesting to see as Reciprocity will again stack inside of Aquarium to push across. Evil Geniuses re-attempting the Hookah defense, but this time everyone from Reciprocity is stacked up. Nobody going for a split push through VIP. It's an all hands on deck push through Aquarium with a lot of time remaining. The pace of this attack right now for Reciprocity is quite remarkable.
Interesting to see the slight differences too. Fox has taken a little bit of damage as his mark, but Sky's changing up from the buck over to the sledge. That could help, I would say, with barbed wire, but Retro is actually the one using his Astronaut breach charges to take out that barbed wire to try and help his team get set up this push. But I do like the time buffer they're giving themselves, and the fact that, of course, they still have the same sets of smokes in play, but of course there is the Maestro Evil Eye that could potentially see through it. Now last time, Fox was able to get the kill into Geo, but that doesn't take out the Evil Eyes, and that's something that looks like they might have been able to take out some of, potentially with the Ash breach charges, but Fox still on the hunt, and there goes Captel smoke bolts.
Mark is going to evade the Toxic Babe and try and facilitate a plant in behind the pool table, but a double nitro from Young. Mark and Skies will both fall. Shotgun holes from down below, and no one recovering the diffuser as of yet for Reciprocity, but they still have plenty of time. Laxing's still far off right now, and Foxay still downstairs. So it's just Retro holding out for now as Foxay will rotate up the Hookah balcony and try and pinch NVK and Necrox inside of Hookah. Slow advancement coming out from Necrox in behind the bars. He tries to re-peek in towards Retro as he tries to constantly reacquire this diffuser. The second Toxic Babe will come out. Laxing able to grab the diffuser and make it into the default plant spot. Throwing down the plant, taking a lot of damage, and shotgun right around the bomb. He's able to grab two NVK and Necrox will. It's all Retro alone with 15 seconds. Looks like we're drawing equal once again. In behind the pool table, no diffuser in hand. Retro will push for the kills and he will fail. NVK will equalize once again. We go back and forth and back and forth. There is never any significant lead garnered from either of these teams.
It's like they're playing this game on a seesaw. Definitely a tough one for them there, the execute attempt. I mean, like you said, all hands on deck. You know, that worked out for the most part, except for the fact that that deck was blasted with a C4. Fox, though, doing pretty much the same thing again, also getting the kill onto Geo on that Maestro yet again, who was trying to play a bit more off-site. And I feel like it's just not working out for Geo, but it's certainly working out for Fox. We are going to get a timeout for Reciprocity here as they try and make sure they can close out this lead or at least continue to keep up the pace on it.
Just watching through the highlights of that last round. If you look at the kills right now, it's Laxing and Foxay leading the way for Reciprocity at 10 and 9 respectively. And on the side of Evil Geniuses, it's more of a committee by depth, and NVK leading the charge with 10 kills for NVK. The next closest is Canadian with 6, then Young with 5.
Well, we will see them go for the kitchen play this time. Will be a little bit different as we had yet to see that on the other side. Will it be any different? Hard to say, but we'll see NVK, the one taking out that Maestro, who was, I would say, a bit more successful with it than Geo, especially on Villa. So it seems like a good role change here. Looks like we're going to see Geo playing a slightly different role, although we could see some 6-picks here, as it is now the reveal phase. So just the end of that timeout leading into that. And there we go, there is a 6-pick. Canadian just doing, you know, he's that flex player in the IGL, just will play whatever he feels like, kind of does his own thing to an extent, but also is trying to play a lot of counterplay more often than not, but also not working a lot of the time, to be fair.
Canadian's been about 50-50 on whether or not he's been able to convert on a lot of the attempts that he's made. Some of them more ambitious than others, and yet the result still falls about dead even back and forth. Although the alibi play is interesting, but I don't really see the whole benefit when you're going to the kitchen. The default spots are the default spots. I mean, you're going to get pre-fired through them anyway. Unless he's just trying to stall out on a roam game's top side, just the pings might be enough to, I guess, intimidate Reciprocity back, but Rec is playing this almost like Empire. They're not swapping up their operators. You don't need to fool them into shooting an alibi to understand what operator they're playing. You've still got the Evil Eyes, you've still got the Valkyrie cameras, so the information is not the crucial point here for Canadian. Maybe it really just is being able to roam with some impacts to Bailiff and a pretty average submachine gun.
I do like that we're still seeing the double smoke play here coming out from Reciprocity. It does mean that if Mark is not able to pull off the execute, that Fox can potentially come around with the smokes for a second execute attempt if need be. Although we didn't really see that come out too much last round because Fox was doing his thing a bit farther from the execute attempt and wasn't able to rotate around to be impactful enough in time. We do have a bit of damage on Necrox that could have been due to team damage or maybe even firing through a wall or soft wall.
It was Fox firing in through the blue bar window as, yeah, Necrox was all the way over in Sunrise by Cubby Walm. So got the hell out of dodge as soon as he got tagged in the backside once through the wall and drops him to about 75 HP. So it won't be the end of the world, but an early loss for a simple mistake for Necrox. And they're still waiting on Reciprocity for their progression, and their patience is seemingly unparalleled throughout a lot of the teams in this tournament and in the world, honestly. They really do have the patience to outlast anyone, and Necrox would be the first to go. So he takes a bullet to the backside early on, and another one now as Skies will tack on, taking down Young midway through the round. It's an early ingress for Reciprocity, and they're demolishing.
Well, that was two of the biggest delays they were going to have in Retro, following that up onto Geo as well. This is looking very strong. Well, okay, this is looking almost over at this point.
NVK left alone to suffer and slowly die inside of service entrance. Currently holding off on a service entrance door push, but he's also got Laxing coming down his theater stairs and twisting and turning. He's being shot from a drone hole outside. He's got no idea. Jackal pinged now on 5 HP. It's a world of hurt that NVK is currently in. He'll pre-fire the kitchen doorway, and Fox A will wait it out. Playing him behind. Oh, what a nice shot onto Mark for NVK, but it was all for naught as Reciprocity had the chokehold against NVK inside of the kitchen, and they'll take the lead once again, 2 rounds away, and that will force Evil Geniuses to take a timeout.
Well, Reciprocity is able to continue their 1-round lead as it creeps up towards the end of this. And it is a good time for EG to be taking that tactical timeout because this is not the middle map. This is the map that decides whether or not they make it even to the semifinals against G2, not to mention the fight against G2 itself. Going to be a heck of a battle. So this is a lot of stress on their back because, of course, Canadian being a native here of Canada is going to be, I imagine, bringing out friends and family to be watching this, and he does not want to be going out in quarters. That would be a terrible position for him to be in. But of course, Fox also going to be doing the same. So a lot riding on those 2 Canadians to make this happen. We are going to be going to what looks like Bar here from EG, something they hadn't tried just yet, as Kitchen didn't work out for them, and Hookah only so far 50%. But since they did win it recently, they cannot go back to it just yet. So they're going to try that Bar defense, something that was the first attempt from Reciprocity, which did not work, and didn't work till their second attempt on it. So we'll see some 6 picks coming out again. Laxing, teasing his Blackbeard play, something he used to be very infamous for back in his Xbox days, but instead bringing out something a little bit different. Which we'll see if it works or not. It definitely is something that we also saw attempted for this particular bomb site sometimes. We'll see if the reinforcements are a little bit different though, in terms of whether or not they reinforce that same side right next to the bar or not. Could be a big game changer. They are going to be bringing the castle though, which will be delaying things up just a smidge.
Just think about the teams that have already made it. You have G2, obviously, who will face the winner of this game. You have Norengo and Empire facing off in the other semifinal. Currently, G2 is the only team that made it out of groups last year to make it out of the quarters this year. EG would join them if they could win Map 3 here on Coastline, but if Reciprocity does, then G2 would be the only returning team to the Final 4 of the Invitational year after year.
That'd be pretty impressive, and shows how this game evolves and changes over time. Season to season, metas shift, things happen. Players shift, but maybe not as much in this case, in the sense of that being a big reason for that change, but in this case, it's just down to how players and teams perform just on a day-to-day basis and with a lot of pressure riding on them, which again, EG are no stranger to. Just that finish line always seems so far away, And when you're in quarters, it is that much farther. They do spot a little bit of this barbed wire here. Skies trying to decide how we're going to approach it. Instead of playing the buck of the sledge, instead going for the Zofia, but does not necessarily know someone right on the other side of that bar.
Waiting for NVK to get off the camera and take a quick peek and try and set the tone on this round, but no such peek comes out from NVK. And Laxing now with a T95 pulling out the Ying is heading over to the pink tarp, and a series of pre-fires through a wooden barricade almost connected the head of Skies, and it would have been a remarkable beginning, and dropping out through the hatch now is NVK as he attempted to hold upstairs inside a hookah for as long as possible, got a minute deep, and then felt the burn coming, so he dropped the hatch to remain safe, and that's exactly what you want to do right now for EG. Peel back, constantly hold some map control. As soon as the pressure gets too hot to handle, fall back to safety. You need strength in numbers right now for these last second site executes that Rec are bringing.
What they need to do is stay away from Fox, it seems, as well. They need to do something to shut him down the same way he was shutting down Necrox time and time again, because Fox seems to be getting away with a lot. And it's making a huge difference. Canadian, that's going to be a game changer, pulling right out of Fox's playbook. And that is not great. I mean, it is retro on the axe, which wasn't necessarily a huge part of this offense, but it's certainly going to slow things down here and possibly see that tie up again.
Flashbangs anticipating an ADS inside of Cubby, but none such. An asphyxiating bolts coming out now from the crossbow. Necrox burning alive. Candela's coming out as all of the utility gets dumped into Sunrise Bar. Laxing going to jump over, but NVK will take down Fox upstairs. Laxing has control in behind the Sunrise Bar, and the plant is going down. Necrox will fall. Mark putting the plant down inside of Sunrise. A wide peak shut down. It's 3 straight kills, 4 straight kills for Reciprocity. Canadian in a 1v2. 1v1 now. She takes out Laxing and Mark. It's Canadian against Skies with diffuser down. Canadian hopping straight on the defuse, and Skies vaulting out the window. Canadian gonna get off as he hears the window breaking. Pre-fires connecting on the shoulder for just a moment. And now Canadian again attempting to stick. 2 seconds, 1 second, turning the corner. Skies will shut it down. Reciprocity, match point, series point.
Just the intelligent plays. This is much like we saw from Empire coming through at just the last second. Basically, at that point, he was forcing Canadian to commit because the baits for earlier forced him off of it, which cost him time. I liked Troy's gumption just going straight to the diffuser, saying, I'm going to stick this as long as I could feel like I could get away with it, and if they don't push me, I'm just going to get away with it. Almost worked out, but Skies playing that just right. Also just managing to dodge a few bullets, like you said, over the shoulder. Like you said, match point here against EG from Reciprocity. This is phenomenal play here coming out from these guys, despite just getting destroyed on bank, much like we saw with Empire coming back swinging heavy after such a rough start.
Attackers need to locate.
No timeouts left either for either team at this point.
All timeouts expended. If you're evil geniuses, you focus 1 round at a time. You win this one, you move on to the next, and then you're in overtime and everything resets back to normal. If you're Reciprocity, you don't want to give EG 1 single inch to claw their way back. We've seen it too many times from evil geniuses on the brink of elimination, able to withstand, persevere, push through, and defeat their foes in a remarkable fashion. If you are Team Reciprocity, you want to close this out right now with no hesitation.
Interesting to see Skies and Laxing switching roles, despite the fact that Laxing got in pretty well, managed to make the most of his side take for the most part, and Skies was the one to clutch it. So I wouldn't say either of those players did their role wrong. They both did them actually pretty well. So it is odd to switch that up when they both did it well, or done so well on that particular role, just demonstratable on screen. And the only team to beat EG during the season voted with Reciprocity, and that's something I mentioned earlier, and that is something that we might be getting demonstrated here on the big stage.
That was on Clubhouse, a 7-5 victory in week 6, and no Clubhouse here. These have been incredibly close games, just like that Clubhouse game, but now on a much bigger stage with much, much more at stake. Reciprocity on the brink of eliminating evil geniuses in the quarterfinals and advancing to play G2 tomorrow afternoon.
I think the important thing here for Reciprocity is now they have some slack. They finally have a 2-round lead. They could start to just play a little more loose, not in the terms of sloppiness, but in the sense that they can relax some of those muscles to really just focus in, just go on the hunt, do their thing, let Fox get his kills, approach the site, don't let them get on the sides of you, but at the same time, EG are gonna be thinking the same thing. We've gotta claw this back. We've gotta get one kill at a time and just slow them down, stop that site push.
Seems like everyone on Reciprocity understanding the stakes that are on currently is playing things a little more tentative than they typically would. The last time they all filed into Aquarium, there was 2 minutes left and they wanted to go for a site execute with 1:30. But Mark's taking a lot of damage downstairs. Canadian Young with 2 big kills. Take down Retro and Skies. NVK is down. All the smokes come out. A Nitro Cell will fly errands, and there goes Necrox. Almost leveling man count. NVK revived though, turning the corner. It's 3 straight kills for Reciprocity. The plant is down by Mark. Foxay on low HP will rip out, same as Mark to the balcony, laxing out on the tarp. It's a 2v3, it's a 1v3. Canadian to keep his team alive in the biggest tournament in the world. Turning the corner, he grabs 1 onto Mark. Trying to go in for 2 against Foxay. All it will take is 2 bullets. Close range for the Deagle. Deagles him down. 1v1 against Laxing. And Laxing on tarp! Reciprocity eliminate evil geniuses!
I did not think this day would come where we would see them shut down. In the quarters like this, at the big stage, Reciprocity almost gave that round to Canadian. You see him scratching his chin. That is the appropriate response right now, because that is what I'm doing, wondering what just happened. What an amazing play by Reciprocity. And all they can look forward to is now we have to bring it to G2. That is not something you want to be facing next, but they guaranteed themselves that much closer to the spot. And I gotta imagine there's some sincere congratulations coming out from both, as well as the GGs, bro. Big time between these two, because that was extremely tense. And now Reciprocity gets to spend the night just thinking about what they're gonna have to do tomorrow.
Honestly, one of the closest series in the final 2 maps, and for Evil Geniuses, a run to the finals with a 2-map lead. Last year, the run does not go that far this time around. Eliminated in the quarter-finals, which means we will have 3 brand new teams. Teams that didn't even make it out of groups last year if they even attended. Now making it to the final 4. It will be Norengo against Empire to start things off tomorrow, and G2, the returning champions, up against the newcomers on the block, Reciprocity.
I gotta say though, but Empire and Reciprocity have shown they can come back from serious bad starts.
Yeah, the 7-3 loss, or yeah, 7-4, sorry, on Coastline earlier today against Liquid. And then today, Evil Geniuses take down Reciprocity 7-2 on Bank. It looks like it's going to be an absolute rout, a 2-0 immediately. And then Villa gets turned on its head. It's a back and forth contest, non-stop, trading rounds back and forth.
I gotta say, you never feel like you can have a lead on them, but let's take a look at the interview over with Matt.
Flynn, Emzo, thank you very much, along with all of our casters who've been working so hard on all of the language streams all around the world. We have our last semi-finalist for the Six Invitational, Team Reciprocity. A huge result. Been hyping up EG today, remembering how they lifted a hammer back when they were Continuum, the guys who were Continuum. Then coming so close last year, this year they won't even make it to our semi-finals because you guys have just caused what I think is fair to say, Laxing, an upset. Would you call it an upset as well? You know how good those guys are.
Yeah, I would definitely call it an upset. When it comes to NA, I think us and EG are by far the highest, competitive edge, and playing against them, even in Pro League, we beat them in Pro League. It was a close game nonetheless, and then even here it's a close game. So regardless, mad respect to those guys. They're a phenomenal team. It was overall just a good game. I'm glad I could bring that to you guys, but we came out on top, and it feels good to be here and in semis, so it's what we work for.
I bet it does feel good, because it's been some time, Laxing. We did this before, back in the good old days of Xbox. That looks a bit familiar. That's a new one. You lifted the old one. That one's a little bit close. In fact, guys, let's just take a step forwards. Come with me. Just take a step forwards, because you are a bit closer to that on Sunday.
Yeah, we are. We're getting closer and closer, and that's the plan, is to grab that and claim it at ours.
Fox, come here with me. Sorry, Laxing, just one moment. Fox, come over here. Last time we talked, I was on an analyst desk with you, and we were having some fun. Now you are back on this side. I think I joked with you then. Are you happy being on this side of the desk, or would you rather be on the other side of a booth? How are you feeling?
I mean, of course they're both fun, but Milos is on the desk now, so I'd rather not be there.
Oh, no. Look at it. That's a World Championship hammer. You have a semi-final tomorrow against G2. How are you going to prepare for that tonight?
Well, I mean, G2 is arguably the best team in the world, so I don't know. I mean, Mantis got a leg up on them because they just were unpredictable, so our play style is being unpredictable, so just that.
You want to predict it for me, Laxing?
I think regardless, it's going to be a good game, just like it was with EG, and we're going to bring it to you guys.
You heard them. They're going to bring it in our semi-final tomorrow. G2's opponents, we won't get the legendary rematch. We will get G2 and Team Reciprocity.
Yeah. Can you guys make sure that I have some aloe vera?
For that burn?
For that burn. And I actually like that guy. Don't tell him.
To save it for tomorrow if they don't make it.
Yeah,